Hello, this is Øystein from Bognagar, the guitarist. Cheers to all the listeners of What's Metal.
Perhaps we start at the time Bognaga came to life. What was the reason to form this band for you?
For me personally, it was a quite personal thing really. I wanted to do something new. I was doing a kind of very brutal form of death metal before, so it was kind of I just woke up one day and decided that I have just had to do something new, and that was the trigger of the whole thing. I just started to do some new music, and I got in contact with Grim, the drummer, and we started to rehearse a little bit together and check this out, and it worked great. So that's the beginning.
So it was more of a project band in the early days?
Yeah, definitely. It was a kind of solo project of mine actually. I wanted to kind of do some kind of musical researches actually. I just wanted to do something experimental, to be honestly, and well, it turned out like it did. We this first album was a lot of acoustic stuff, movie soundtrack, kind of things, as well as metal, very brutal form, black metal, so to speak. So
What can you tell us about the history of the current lineup? In what bands did the other members played before, and in what bands do they play beside Bognaga?
Well, it's a long history. The lineup now is actually our first priority lineup. The members in the band doesn't have any side project of any importance right now. So you can say that we have got a quite stable lineup. But I mean, the history of the band has been quite been a lot of members in and out and stuff like that. We started up with members from like Gorgoroth, Enslaved, Immortal, and Ulver, as far as I can remember, and then we had to fire this guy from Gorgoroth because he didn't want to he didn't have this band as a big priority, so to speak. He wanted to concentrate on Gorgoroth and stuff. So the whole thing kind of developed. I mean the band, none of us in the beginning was kind of ready for this, or at least this guy who was already involved in other bands wasn't kind of ready for this kind of success. I mean, we have been existing for 3 years now, and things have been the progress have been quite amazing, so to speak. So the guys wasn't kind of able to follow this progress, so they kind of step by step, quit, or something happened that they couldn't work any longer with the band and stuff like that. So I mean, for the band, it have always kind of turned out as a positive thing for a band, because we have got new members which have kind of makes this band as a full-time priority and stuff, and I mean the lineup we have got now, a result of musical selection is very good. I think it's very creative, and we have as a personal friends as well, we have good relationship on tour and in the rehearsal room and stuff like that. So
is there a certain lyrical concept you try to intersperse Bognaga with?
I mean, we don't have these big stories. We don't want to go out to the world and tell a big, I mean, fuck Christ or whatever. I mean, we are kind of, the band is anti-Christian, but I mean, we are non-political. We are kind of, I would say we base the whole thing very much about personal things. I mean, all this nature and North mythology stuff we use, all these basic forces and stuff. That's kind of the way I like to express myself, and I think the meaning behind the lyrics goes a little bit deeper, but I think that's a personal thing, and I want to kind of keep that as a kind of secret for the listener to them to kind of more get into the music and to get their own thoughts about the music and some own ideas about the whole thing, and then that is quite satisfying when people comes to me after buying a record or whatsoever and tell that they have got some ideas, they really get into a certain mood when they're listening to albums and stuff like that, and that regarding the fans, that's what I want to kind of obtain, so to speak.
So I only got the promotional copies. In the official releases, the lyrics are included?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a certain aim you try to reach sound-wise, perhaps?
No, I mean, I think, at least for me, when it comes to making this music and this band and all the stuff, and I guess also that comes for the other guys, the whole band is very based on instincts, musical instincts, I think. We don't have any special goals, we don't have any special limits or whatsoever. We just do the music we feel is right, and we just do the music in the moment, so to speak. So it's, as I said, that's kind of instinct. We just do it, and it turns out like it does, and that's basically it. It's Yeah.
You have a superb vocalist right now. Has he had a professional education?
No, he not as far as I know. I don't think so. He actually started out as a guitarist, and then he played some drums and some keyboards. He's actually a multi-musician, so it's quite fun to have him in the band because he's able to do everything when it comes to music, and he's also extremely the best vocalist, I think. So yeah, I'm satisfied with the situation.
I already saw you on the Wacken open air. He hadn't played bass there, is that right?
Oh, that's right, because the bass player was not either able to go on tour. So we in order to manage to go on this tour, we had to kind of get a session drummer, as well as Simon had to take to the bass, and as well as the vocals. So we are kind of a little bit dismembered, so to speak. I mean, two of the members is back home, and things is a little bit against us on this tour maybe, but I think we handled it okay. It's not good enough, but we fixed it somehow.
What is your impression about the Wacken open air and your show in general?
Our show wasn't good. I think it was a lot of mistakes, and we flew from Norway, and it's the heat was kind of a little bit too hot for us and stuff. So in general, we had a quite bad show, I think, but it was cool. And I think that maybe an arrangement, behind backstage was a little bit chaotic. It was a lot of nobody knew anything and stuff like that. But in general, it was cool.
By the way, what does the word Borknagar mean?
It's just a fantasy name, actually. Only a fantasy.
Are you satisfied with the work Century Media is doing for you?
Yeah, in the long terms, in the important things, they've done a good job, I think. Very good, actually. There is, of course, some small confrontations, some disagreements and stuff like that. But I think in general, they do a pretty good job. And it seems like we are kind of in a situation that we get a quite high priority when it comes to this kind of metal on Century Media. So, yeah, it's good.
On the promotional copy, the cover artwork is printed really small, so I couldn't figure it out, really. What does it show?
Actually, the background is manipulated. It's built up of a couple of photos that we had, some that I took myself, and some we found some artwork stuff. We did some computer stuff on it, and we also have this red sign with this dragon. It's a kind of second logo of the band. It's a kind of tag or whatever. And you have the circle around with the runes. It's the runes for the 4 elements, and go south, west, east, and north and stuff. So it's kind of magic thing. That's a basic thing for us, and that was the guiding lines we was working after. And Century Media kind of had some guys working on it to do it a little bit more professional. So if you have a second look on it, it's a little bit mysterious. You have some eerie creatures and stuff like that in the cover. So yeah.
So you don't have any other projects beside Bognaga?
Personally, I not any serious one at the moment, I think, but I have a lot of music on tape, which is totally different from this. What you're doing in this band, so it might be sometime in the future that I may do something completely different, but at the moment there is no time, and we'll see. I just have to relax a little bit first. Okay.
What about you and Arcturus?
Arcturus is actually no more, I guess. So Arcturus will release one new album. It won't be actually very new. It will be a remix album. They will. Perhaps I think there will be 2 new songs on it, but the rest of it will be remixes, and I think that's it for Arcturus. Arcturus will be no more after that. So,
what's the reason to split the band?
People are going in different directions. That's it. Yeah.
If you look at the metal scene over the past 5 years, what do you think has changed?
I don't know really. I've seen myself as quite. I'm kind of being on the outside all the time, but I think this. It seems like for me that the metal scene have kind of evoluted in a more situation where people focus more on the music itself than maybe for a couple of years ago, especially in Norway. So I think that's very positive. I mean, like band like Covenant and Dimmu Borgir and stuff like that. They do really good music with really good sound, and it's professional the whole way through. So that is a kind. I like that. I think that's cool, because you cannot kind of. You cannot deal with tape trading all your life. You have to kind of progress. So I think that's cool.
You have been on tour with In Flames. I think this was your first tour. What experiences could you gain during this tour?
I don't know. Of course, there was a lot to learn. I mean, with everything, I guess. But I mean, that was quite good experience actually. I mean, to get out to kind of meet the fans sometimes, it was quite give you some energy. I mean, to people that really into your music, and you get some really good feedback. It's something. It's totally different from sitting home and get some faxes or a phone call from Century Media that the album is out and everything is cool. So it's kind of to get out in the fields. It's a little bit. It's very positive in some ways and very negative, a little bit negatives, and it's much hard work and stuff like that the other way. So, but in general, it's cool. We have a nice time.
On the new record, there's a song called Ad Noctem. You played it tonight. Who came up with the idea to use this Hammond organ in the song?
Yeah, well, I think I like the groove of the 70s. You know, I think the 70s has a good groove to it. What I don't like about the 70s is that 70s have tendencies to be like very naive, and hopefully that is not that's absolutely not the point with the Ad Noctem. But to have the groove, you know, I think I like a lot of 70s band has a very good groove to it, and so that's why I did it.
So you played the keyboards?
Yeah, right on that song I did, yeah.
And don't you miss the keyboards during a live show?
Nah, it's more metal this way, you know, but probably next time we'll just might have a session keyboardist or whatever, just might take a new guy into the band, whatever. Depends on what Ivar want to do, you know, as well. He's I don't think he will want to go on tour, so that's a problem. So we just might have a keyboard player next time around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the situation will be quite different from next time. I think we'll try to do the preparation before the tour a lot better than this time. I mean, this time was a little bit stressy because we was in studio a couple of months ago back home. We did some release parties and stuff, and we haven't really had the time to kind of get down to earth and kind of work with the band as with members and things like that. So I think next time we'll use some time to kind of do this touring stuff a lot more better from our side. I guess we will maybe use some synth play. I don't know. We'll see. We'll check it out. But at least we will get a new bass player and stuff like that in order to kind of keep the I mean, approach them.
Yeah, because it's much more energy. We need to have more professional lighting stuff. We need some scenery around, because this tour was like very fast work. It's only basics, and I think that's for the fans that's not enough. It's cool to see a band play live, but it's cooler to like have a scenery around it. But whatever, you know.
Also, we are kind of the situation that we are a support band for two quite big bands, really big bands, I would say. So kind of we are the small guys, and we haven't the kind of resources that these guys have. We did all the lights and all this sound man. They have sound man and light man and crew, whatever. So I mean, we are just ourselves. We are 4 human beings being on stage, and that's basically it. So kind of the situation is a little bit difficult for us just now. But I think next time we will maybe do a little bit for us. We will kind of maybe be a headliner or something like that, and then we will be able to do something more out of it, and to kind of, I think, satisfy the fans a little bit more than we do right now. Mm-hmm. I think we're doing it okay. I think people sometimes like it, but I think it's not good enough. In my opinion, towards myself, it's not good enough, and I want to do it better next time, definitely.
A few years ago, you mentioned that you were very satisfied with the work Malicious Records did for the debut album. Now, with some years in distance, or 2 years in distance, do you still think the same?
Yeah, I mean, the first couple of months we was working with Malicious Records was actually very good. He was kind of was no problem to get money for whatever. I mean, the studio budget and cover layout and stuff. He was very kind of took this quite serious, and the whole thing worked actually very good, smoothly. But in the long run, it's kind of the first thing which happened was that he wasn't kind of able to follow the progress of the band. He wasn't able to kind of give us enough support. Maybe enough. It's not concerned about money and stuff, but it's more like promotional things and connections and distribution and stuff like that. So this was kind of natural step to sign with Century Media. afterwards. And I mean, like now, I mean, I don't know what's happening with this guy from Malicious, but I mean, we haven't got all the royalties and stuff like that. So of course we are a little bit upset about the whole record label at the moment being. But he did a quite good job, but he have actually ripped us off. So that's a fact.
Have you ever thought of bringing Molested back to life?
Yeah, actually, I don't know if we will do something new, but I have a lot of music on tape at home, so it might be what we will release, just re-release the albums we've done with some material, unreleased material and stuff like that. So we'll see. It will be kind of, yeah, I don't know, tribute to the old death metal, some things like that. I don't know. We will see. Just have to see what's happened.
What are the characteristics of Molested?
What?
The characteristics. What makes Molested special?
I don't know really. I think I think personally it was the most brutal band on the world. I think Dan actually was totally uncompromising. Just was blasting all the way and was 100 riff in one song and stuff like that. So it was kind of a fun thing to do. And I mean, on this tour we have actually. I met a lot of guys who's really into the old Molested stuff, and it's quite funny. And also we met one guy who had tattooed one of the cover on his arms and stuff like that, and was, yeah, that's cool. And so I will see what's happening. It's fun.
Our program is called What's Metal? What is metal for you?
I don't know. Guitar for me.
Metal, I would be Rain and Blood.
It's music definitely, but I try to have a kind of professional relationship to the music. I cannot just do music all the time. I have to do something else. That's my personal view.
What was the question?
Is it just music for you, or also a lifestyle? You live it.
Yeah, for me, so at this moment, yeah, very much so. This is the thing I do absolutely, and actually live in the rehearsing place. So music, you can say, music is very much my life at this point. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, do you have any other closing comments for our listeners or your fans?
Check out the new album, and there will be a new one, which is much better.
Right.
Last time.
Really? Last comment, last famous word. No. Kiss my ass. Good night. Bye.